All right, Jason, it's Nick. Hey, I'm responding to your video called The Race Card. Great video. I made one of a similar name maybe a year or so ago. I am still getting comments on that from, let us say, um, mentally and emotionally limited creatures. In any event, yeah, this whole idea that there's a race card. It's a complete fabrication, fabrication of the right or the media, maybe, or the right media, maybe, um, to pretend that there's this imaginary card called the race card that somehow the implication first is that it's all a game. And I think you're right. I think this is a way that they trivialize the seriousness of the situation, that they make it cutesy, and then retreat into a false Disneyland fantasy of false innocence and goodness. So they distance themselves by trying to make it trivial and say, "Oh well, this is just a game," and they imply that somebody got dealt some special cards, like they don't have this card. This is an unfair card to use because this card, to play this card as if one were playing in the struggle called life. To play this card is just so unfair. Um, but if we look at it as a game, and to which the rules are already rigged, what other cards are already in this game? The cards that no one else mentions. They never show you the deck. They never show you the other cards in the deck. So I've been looking around, and I think I found the deck, man. Hey, look, here's one here. This is the white privilege card. Hey, there's one there, huh? And these are cards that, they play these under the table. You don't see these cards on the table. All you see on the top of the table is the mythical race card. So these cards are played under the table, and not everybody gets these. They don't get dealt fairly out. Hey, here's another one. Here's the inherited wealth card. Yes, if you're lucky enough to get dealt this card, you have lots of inherited wealth from other people's labor through the centuries, huh? Sometimes free labor. And you get to use that to buy access to quality education, etc. That's a good card to have, huh? How about this card? Family connections. That's right. If you already have people in your family who have all these privileges and inherited wealth, etc., and you have connections to them, boy, that's a good card to have, huh? Here's one called the similar to me bias. Yes, people will just give benefits and jobs and opportunities to people who are similar to them. They just seem to fit better. They feel more comfortable with people who are similar to me, similar to them. Here's another one called All the Heroes Are Caucasian. Yes, this one here operates under the table for sure, huh? All the heroes are Caucasian. That's an interesting card. Society has that one, and here's an even more powerful one. God is white. Huh? That's an incredible card to have. Huh? God is white. So if you're lucky enough to be playing at the table and someone, deals these out to you under the tabletop, that's great. But don't ever bring out the race card, the dreaded race card, because that's just taking totally unfair advantage. And I think it's the only card that you're actually allowed, as I say, to put up on the top of the table. Scares them because, first of all, they retreat into the fantasy of this being some nice Disneyland. Let's preserve at all costs our sense of false self-goodness and deny history. Forces them to face that may be a fantasy. They retreat into a game analogy and say, "Oh well, we're playing a game, and you just picked such an unfair card that wasn't dealt to all the rest of us." And on top of that, if you look at it as a game, you see that actually there's a whole hidden deck, and nobody is getting those cards except a few people. I was going to say something else about this, about the game aspect of this, but my mind. Oh yes, this card that they're calling the race card is actually the card of equality, that puts things on a level playing field for all people and all races, as I know you know. You know, you know how horrible, white God forbid, that we should actually have a fair game where actually equality is, people are reminded of their duty and their obligation legally and morally to treat everybody equally. The equality card, that's just the scariest card you could ever pull out, man. You know. So I'm kind of torn now. I know that they're retreating into a fantasy kind of game, but I think we should create a deck like this. With a God is White card and a white privilege card and an inherited wealth card and a similar to me card and all the heroes are Caucasian card, and we should have this deck, carry them with us, and when somebody says, oh, they're playing the race card, we can just say, oh, here's a deck for you, let's play this game. Why don't we play this game? And we could leave these decks all over the place, everywhere, as sort of artifacts to create cultural change. So in a way, when I say I'm torn, it's kind of powerful to look at it as a game, because in a way, if we do look at it as a game, it's a completely rigged game, and these cards need, of course, to be brought on top of the table along with the great equality card. That's my story, buddy. Great video as always, Jason. Take care. Talk to you later.